Life. We're back for episode 4. Yes, we have some more. At the table with me today,
Rick Bench,
Klevin Lamar, the mayor,
and Kirk Bell,
and me, Rob. We are back to tell and talk about some more great stuff in the land of Tampa Bay, and that's Buccaneers and all sports going today, but we're mostly all Buccaneers news. Guys, looking at Facebook, I've had some questions about who are you guys? You guys came out of nowhere. And so I want to give you guys a little backdrop of who I am, and hopefully these guys will as well. My name's Rob. My biggest background is retail sales management. That's what I've been doing for the last 25 plus years. So I tend to, I'm a people person. I'm out and about. Over the years, I've ran a lot of big stores. On top of that, I've been involved with youth sports. My kid has been playing baseball since the age of 5. Both boys. Actually, I ran a team for Tyler, and then I actually was involved with Zach all the way through playing sports.
Go Vikings.
Yes, Northeast Vikings senior season. It's one of those things right now with everything going around. The 2020 season for those guys are getting wiped out, it seems. But I've been involved with youth sports since he's been 5, and this is his senior season. So guess what that means? That means I have a lot more time to do stuff that I have passion about, and that's what we're kind of moving on. We've also the Bucs. I've been a season ticket holder for the Bucs since 1995. I started going to Bucs games in 1986. My neighbor used to knock on my door. He was what they called a snowbird. He was a Canadian. He would come and say, "Hey, do you want to go to the games?" He had a Corvette, and there was 3 of us. Of course, I was the youngest. I was stuffed in the little back trunk area, and I would ride with him. We'd get to Tampa Stadium right at kickoff and walk right in the stadium. No lines, no wait. And, back then you could take tickets off people's cars. They just put tickets on the windshield. And I would see Steve DeBerg playing. I got to see Steve Young play. So back in 1986, I think DeBerg was the quarterback at the time. Yep. Fast forward to when I was able to get tickets. My wife luckily went over. One day I was at work. She comes back and surprises me and says, "I got 2 tickets." The funny thing is, she only went to 2 games with me and decided after that it's not a life for her to go to the games. So it became a guy's day out. And that's where my fandom really started. And, as far as Buccaneers, play video games, all that kind of stuff. Everybody wanted the Raiders. They wanted Bo Jackson. They wanted Montana. They wanted all that kind of stuff. I wanted the Buccaneers. So that was my little lowdown for you to give you a little bit. Klevin, what do you got?
Well, here I am. Welcome to Crewville. I'm Klevin Lamar. And just to give you a little background about me, people ask me, Rob, where'd you get this the mayor from? Well, the mayor came from a friend of mine who used to tailgate with me years ago, almost a decade. And she said that, you know what? You organize so much stuff that...
Did you say stuff or shit?
I said stuff. She said you organize so much stuff that you're dubbed as Mr. Mayor. But then my good friend from Atlanta, Boogeyman, dubbed me as the Mayor. So that's where that came from. But real quickly about me, I was born and raised in Tampa Bay. Very proud of it. Not too many of us could say that. I've also spent the last 32 years in the law enforcement and in the community here in Tampa Bay. I've served as a mentor for high school kids and middle school kids, minority kids, just doing that kind of stuff. And the people I did it for, I mentored for, was Men in the Making. I'm going to plug out, shout out to my boys at Men in the Making and the Right Field. As far as my fandom, of course, everybody knows I bleed red. I'm a diehard Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. And I've been a season ticket holder here in Tampa Bay for the past 20 years. Not too many people can say that. A lot of people have, but
I can't.
Yeah, you can, but not a lot of us are around this. Been like right here, we've seen Super Bowl, we partied with the Bucs, the whole 9 yards. I'm also, or I dropped my season ticket. I hate to say it, Tampa Bay Lightning, but I dropped my season tickets. But I'm still a bleed blue as well for Tampa Bay Lightning. I was a season ticket holder for 2 years for Tampa Bay Lightning. It's just that got so expensive. Yeah. That's the only reason why I dropped them. But I love my Tampa Bay Lightning. With the Rays, I've been in their command. I served in their command since 2006 as the event commander up at the Rays. So I've been with the Tampa Bay Rays and their event commander for a while. And another thing I just want to let people know about me, I've traveled to, at least for the last 10 years, 2 away games. I've also, this past 3 years, been to like 3 international games with the Buccaneers. I'm excited for the season, and I'm looking forward to this year.
Well, my name is Rick Bench, as you guys know. I'll give you a little background on myself. I went to the University of Tennessee. I've got a little bit of orange that bleeds in there. And I know what kind of crap I'm going to take come the 3rd week in September from every one of you guys.
You got it.
I'm either going to make a ton of money or I'm going to get killed. Who knows which? I'm actually a professional drummer. I've toured, done thousands of hours of studio time, ran the trade desk for one of the largest trading companies in the country. From there, as a day trader, one of the largest day traders in the country. I've just been a business owner my whole life. Ran 8 tobacco shops, from tobacco shops to online, Apex, all kinds of stuff. I'm also a coach, youth coach. That's how Rob and I met. With our boys playing ball.
12 years ago. Can you believe it?
I know, 12 freaking, oh my gosh, time flies. As far as all the fans, I mean, Bucs, I'm a huge ball player. I was a walk-on at UT and, obviously didn't make anything. But I love baseball. The Rays were great. Bucs, as far as the Bucs go, I mean, growing up in Tennessee, there were no teams there. So when I got here, it was an instant latch onto the Bucs. I had season tickets up to 2004, 2005. Dropped off the season ticket map and then started up with Rob 12. So I was probably out of the market for a couple years, not going to too many Bucs games. But love the Rays, love the Lightning. I really concentrate probably a little bit more Rays than I do Bucs, to be honest. But, man, love the area, love the town. I'd go back to Tennessee on vacation. I sure as heck wouldn't live there. Love it here. St. Pete, Tampa's home.
Absolutely.
So, Kirk is our producer. Give us a little bit of information, backstory on what you do there, Kirk.
Well, I grew up in Euclid Heights in St. Petersburg, and I loved it. My brother was in the Marine Corps for a while, and he traveled the world. And I was in high school when that happened. And when he came back, I said, "Hey, where would you want to live? Like, you went all the way to California, you lived in San Diego, you went to all these great places. I've never been on a plane. Where would you want to live?" He was like, "Right here."
Nice.
Like, he went to like Tokyo and went to like Korea and a whole bunch of other different places, and this was a place he always wanted to live. You know what? He was right. This is like the greatest city in the world is to live in St. Petersburg, Florida. I graduated from USF St. Pete, and I also am in the Army. I'm a broadcast journalist. Technically, now I've been in it a long time, so I can't be a journalist anymore. So you become like a supervisory role. You become more like a manager and stuff like that. So I'm an operations chief, and it's fun. And I get to do stuff like this. I went to the Defense Information School, which is in Fort Meade, Maryland. I was a graduate of their combat correspondence course. I went to Iraq a couple of times, and did video work for different brigades and different divisions. I worked for the 1st Armored Division, 1st Cav, 3rd COSCOM, like when that was a thing, the 13th SCE when that was a thing, the 15th Sustainment Brigade, you know, and I worked for all of them in all these different places in Iraq. I never really got to travel that much. I had to stay inside the kind of like the Sunni Triangle, and I never really left there, so I didn't get to go all the way up to like Mosul or any of the, like the real fun places like Tikrit. You know, I had to stay in like Baghdad, Ramadi. You know, just
Luxury resorts.
Yeah, basically.
5-star accommodation.
No, they were. It depends on when you're there. You know, sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're not. But when I was at the Defense Information School, and it's a great school. It's in Fort Meade, Maryland again, and it was a terrific school. You work with all the services. You get to work with Navy, and you get to work with the Marines, and you get to work with Air Force, and then of course, you know, my Army guys. And you get to work with all of them. You get to learn from all their different experiences, and you go through this very, very intense school, very intense, with a high attrition rate, because they don't care. Like they don't have like the normal type of schooling that you get where they're just like they pass everybody along. Like if you don't meet a standard, they kick you out. I was lucky enough; they kept me. I failed the voice audition like twice. You know, it was.
Did you really?
I did. I did. It was horrible.
The one thing, the year you came back,
Yeah.
okay, and you went to work for Channel 8 News.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What year was that?
That was just after my first tour.
This is the coolest thing. So I'm sitting at home, and I'm watching the Bucs preseason game.
Right, against the Texans. And all of a sudden they come back from break, and they said, we would like to welcome back one of our colleagues. He's coming back from Iraq. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my second tour.
Okay, they welcomed him back.
So it was after 2010.
And it was John Lynch.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have a picture of my brother on the screen. It was the coolest thing. I had I had it videotaped and everything. It was really cool, and you've done a lot of great things. It's cool.
And it was a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different places. But right now, we're going to talk to this place, and we're going to talk to our people, and we're going to talk to Klevin about some draft news, about where we're going in the draft, where we could go in the draft as part of Bucs Nation, as part of, Crue Life, and where he expects everybody to fall.
Yeah, Kurt, I just want to say, hey, man, thank you for your service, your 2 tours, and thank everybody out there for their service. Absolutely. I mean, we bleed for you guys because you guys sacrifice your stuff for us.
We need a Crue Life salute to service shirt.
Absolutely. There you go. Where's Easy B?
No,
Where's Easy B?
Brian Easy B, that's your next shirt.
That's right.
We got it.
And it's because people like Kurt. That's why I want to do that.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
So here we are, folks. Our draft news. Let's talk about the draft. We're less than 4 weeks away. April 23rd is when the draft is supposed to happen in Vegas. I was supposed to be there in the inner circle.
I mean, you were supposed to be there.
We all were supposed to be there.
The crew was supposed to be there on tour.
But someone gave me inner circle tickets. But anyway, that's the past. But due to the coronavirus, we all got canceled. And you know what else got canceled, Rick? The NFL Pro Days.
Yeah.
The NFL Pro Days got canceled. The draft prospects were also canceled, where they traveled to.
At least the coaches got enough out of the combine.
I was going to say one thing real quick. I'm going to cut in because I was watching something yesterday, or actually listening to NFL radio driving to work. They said the biggest loss with all this going on, if they weren't at the combine, like some of these, like when we got Marpet, he wasn't at the combine.
Neither was Jake Fromm.
Okay, so when you have those guys not there or they're coming off injury, they don't have the doctor reports. They don't have the times they ran. Hopefully I'm not stepping over what we were talking about, but that was, to me, I was like, wow, it's kind of like the free agents. I've been watching the news. There's been free agents that signed these contracts. They're going and getting their doctor reviewed, and guess what? They're turning down the contracts. 2 free agents yesterday signed deals with other teams, and they were canceled out. Yeah. So it's gonna be a full round of who did their best homework before this. And luckily, Jason Light's one of those guys.
Absolutely. Rob, you nailed it. But I could tell you this. a lot of the weight will be put on what these potential prospects have put on film. Not only this season, this past collegiate season, but over the course of their careers. That's what's going to happen here. But let me just go, if you guys want to comment on that real quick.
No, you're saying what everything that I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
And
No, you're on it.
You're on the roll.
Yeah.
You're on it.
So
Keep going.
So I just want to quickly go through the top 15. We all know where my team and our team draft, which is
14.
14.
And let me, you remember number 14. Who wore number 14 that was really big in our organization? One guy. He took us to the Super Bowl.
Brad Johnson?
Brad Johnson.
That was Brad Johnson.
So the lucky 14.
That was a hell of a guess.
Hey, it's all good.
Take it any way I can get it.
But listen, so I'm going to go off and I'm going to give Sports Illustrated credit because they resemble what I would do if I was doing a mock draft. But Sports Illustrated's top 15. Number 1 was Chase Young. He's a defensive end out of Ohio State. I mean, even with 2-game suspension, he had 16.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles. He lead the nations in sacks. Then we got number 2. I'm going to just go through these real quick. We got Joe Burrows at quarterback, Jeffrey, I don't even know how to say it, Okada from Ohio State. We got Isaiah Simmons. He's a linebacker out of Clemson. Tua, and y'all know the quarterback from Alabama. I ain't going to try to say his last name. Tuak, Pola, some stuff like that. Derek Brown, he's an inside defensive line. He's out of Auburn. Jarek Wills, and I do want to expand on him because, in my opinion, he's like that's who we want.
Absolutely.
Okay? We want Jarek Wills. He's an offensive tackle from Alabama. He's 6'4", 312 pounds. He's an elite run blocker at right tackle.
Did they have his times on anything? Verticals, anything?
He's up there, but I got another guy who led the combine.
Louisiana?
Yes.
Louisville.
yes.
I'm sorry, the Louisville
right.
offensive tackle. Yep.
Okay. Then we got out at number 8 is Tristan Wirfs. I mentioned him last week. He's an offensive tackle out of Iowa. He killed it at the combine. Very impressive. He's the one that led the combine, is the guy from Iowa. Then we got Jerry Jeudy. He's a wide end from Alabama. Javon Kinlaw. He's an inside defensive line out of South Carolina. Number 11 was CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. He's very dangerous for yards after catch. Then number 12, we had Mekhi Becton, the offensive line out of Louisville. He's 6'7", 364 pounds, size, strength. I mean, he mauls in the run game.
Monster of a man.
He's a monster. I'd love to get him. I think I mentioned him in one of the other podcasts. And then number 13, we got Henry Ruggs. He's a wide receiver out of Alabama. And then number 14, they have C.J. Henderson. He's a cornerback out of Florida. Most of you guys know him. Great in man coverage, strong and athletic. And then number 15, another guy that probably will be there for us is Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. He's, I tell you, he's strong, athletic. He's got 41 started, 15 of them at right tackle, which is what we need. Remember DeMar Dotson. And then he's got 26 at left tackle. So he's versatile.
Yeah.
So those are the top 15. That's my top 15 as well.
I'm going to go, like I said before, because I want to win my bottle of Red Stag. It's got to be a running back or it's got to be something other than offensive line. But, running back is where I think we go. You got to have somebody that is a good pass-catching back that is typical Brady style. When I mean Brady style, he uses the running back. White last year for the Patriots caught the ball more than anything, 60 or 70 times. And if you look at Swift from Georgia, he had 76 receptions last season. Tell me that doesn't fit. what we're looking for. And we do not have a one back. We do not have a number one.
Okay. I agree with you. Here's my
I
take.
don't.
Here's my take. Here's my take. And I told both you guys this earlier, and I think Klevin agrees with me. My whole thing is we draft the offensive tackle. If we miss Swift, we miss him. There are 4 other dudes out there, running backs. Higgins, Dobbins, who else is out there?
Cam Akers.
Okay, so if I can draft either Wills or the Louisville offensive tackle, if I get the third place running back, he's going to run like a first place running back with the best offensive tackle that we can find
Jason
in
Light,
front of him.
Jason Light,
just
I'm
saying.
telling you right now, every year Jason has went into the draft and the plan has been going round 2 or 3 for a running back, and he's got burned every time. You need a difference maker as a weapon. Okay?
I don't
And
disagree with that.
I'm not even saying you take him at 14, you trade back maybe and get some picks to boost everything up. Second and third round, that's where you go for the offensive line. In my opinion, you need a weapon that makes a difference on the offense. And right now, we just signed the offensive lineman. That's to
Hank,
me. Hank is instant plug and play.
He's not elite. That's what we are looking for.
He's healthy and he's ready to play.
He's healthy. I could put a healthy me in there at right tackle, and I'm not going to do dog nothing. There's no way I can do it.
That's a reach. Right?
Rick, can I ask you a question?
It is a reach.
What's the running back from New Orleans name?
Alvin Kamara. What about him?
Alvin Kamara. Where did they draft him?
Oh, late. He was with University of Tennessee. Like I said last time, he's not. You didn't look at Alvin Kamara and say he's amazing. You went at him and said he's a decent utility guy, and that's what he.
But
went there
now
for.
he's amazing because of Drew Brees. So I disagree with you, Rob, about drafting a running back first round. You just don't do it.
Okay, with that analogy, though, with that analogy, the Patriots will show everybody you don't draft a quarterback until the 6th round. That doesn't make sense. Just because you got lucky.
It's not the analogy. It's not the analogy. It is how this is going to go down.
Tom Brady.
All I am, listen, for trading my whole life, that's all right? I'm percentages. That's all I am. And when I gamble, Klevin's a pro. I'll go in there and play with Klevin all the time. I'm a percentage guy. If it's 51%, I'm going that road. It's just a percentage. That's all.
You go percentage. I'm going where
our percentage of success, in my opinion, is the offensive tackle first, because if I've got the best that I can put at that position, not only is Brady going to be better, but I can draft a running back in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round, and that boy is still going to shine because I've got the hog up there front clearing the way for it.
Amen.
I go offensive line 2nd round and go with a weapon in the 1st round, a weapon that can make a difference. Right now, you look at our running backs, we have a guy that we're hoping that does well, and right now Rojo, and that's what you have, and then. I can't even say his name for the number 4.
Wally.
I just call him Wally.
Wally.
Okay, so Wally, Wally has showed you some great things, right? But he's not a 1. He's not a 2. He's a 3, possibly a 4.
Third down back.
And I look at that. We need a true bell cow kind of guy that is a weapon like Carolina. Carolina has that weapon, right? You don't know if he's going to catch the ball, run the ball. He's in there all the time. He actually, I think, plays more downs than any other player on the offense other than the quarterback. Even last year, he played more than their quarterback because they didn't have one. So you look at the team, a running back's been our missing link for the last 5 years.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But an offensive tackle, that is the best that we can get. And
He can't carry the ball.
Just listen to me. Yeah, he can't carry the ball. He can't throw the fucking ball either. Can't throw the ball either. Sorry. He can't throw the ball. But you know what? That offensive tackle is not just there for the running back. He's there for Brady. He's there for the receivers, the guys that are running routes coming around his side. If he's the best that we've got and he can pull the line better than anybody else, then we're going to be plowing holes that you could run through.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to stick with this. Bruce Arians came on the record multiple times saying offensive linemen are not draftable in the first part of the draft because they will not be playing for the coach they're playing for when they get drafted.
Let's see.
They're not ready. College offensive linemen are not ready to start.
And that may be true. That may be true.
That's going to be a bottle of Gentleman's Jack on my side or Red Stack.
Well,
we're going to owe me. I can just tell you right now, guys.
I think you're
and
going.
Grish, you and I are going to have these drinks
together.
together.
Say, I think you're just going with what Grish says because Grish is a gambler like me. We both play poker games together, and I'm going to go against Grish on his pick for running back in the first round.
Hey,
it ain't happening.
Grish, when we come to Denver, just remember this. We're going to go live, and then we'll have you drinking the bottle together, and these guys will be buying our drinks with the bottles or whatever. So, I'm going to go running back and stick with it.
Okay, well, let's just use common sense on this stuff. If without your offensive lineman, you cannot run the freaking ball.
When was the last time that we drafted an offensive lineman in the first or second round?
Is that Kenyatta Walker?
Kenyatta Walker?
Kenyatta Walker was
Good Lord.
horrible. So now you want to go down that road again, huh?
I'm not saying, but it's been that long since we've gone into that well to get somebody who can really help our run game.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time we had a run game? Warwick Dunn? I mean, really? Are we talking 18 years that we haven't had a run game?
Right.
Really? Seriously, folks?
Well, you had Martin. You had Martin until he
that
got
wasn't a run
hooked
game.
1 year, and look at Winston.
Dude,
1
His
year.
best year. Winston's best year was when we had a run game. And you never make us say that. When we got away from having a dimensional, you're handing the ball off, you don't know what they're doing, that's when everything fell apart. It helps your offensive line by having a run game. Okay? You guys can have the best offensive line there is. If you have no run game, guess what? You're still one-dimensional.
Yeah, that run game is going to depend on that right tackle.
Absolutely.
It'll depend
got
on
to
more
know
on the
that.
right tackle than it will the boy who's got the ball in his hands.
You could
at least for this team. I'm just saying for this team in specific, what we look like right this second. That's where I see.
Hey,
that
Crew
Brady-
Life,
that-
write this down right now. Trent Williams will be released by the Redskins or given away for virtually nothing, and he will be who we go after. He is an instant plug-and-play. He can play right or left tackle, and most likely you put him at left and you move over Smith.
Now that is a guy that is a guy that if we did get him, he would fill that hole. And
I would
then-
love to
and,
have
and,
that.
and then we're going straight DeAndre Swift first pick. But how much is that guy going to cost, and how much cap space we got? We got what, $8 million in cap space? Is he going to come here for $8 million?
Hell no.
Hell no.
You make room.
Hey, Rob,
How
let
do
me
you make room now? They've already made their roster plays.
It's called those the teams that are very good. They find room. How does the Rams did it for all these years? They take a contract for a guy that is a young guy. How many times have we taken Evans and extended him? Evans has went and we keep extending him out. And guess what? You push the money around. Good teams could do that.
Rob, one last thing. I just want to ask you this. How can our team be successful if Brady is on his ass 47 times?
He won't be because you're going to fix the problem, but not in the draft, because in the draft, you have an older quarterback. He wants to have a veteran, not a rookie, protecting his blind side or even on the right side.
We'll see.
All right, Crew Life. Listen, we are never going to agree on everything, and that's what you want. You actually want to hear what we've got to say about different topics. Folks, we are going to take a break, and we will be back.
This episode brought to you by ApexGiftCard.com. At ApexGiftCard.com, you'll find all your favorite restaurants and stores, discounts anywhere from 15 to 52% off some of your favorite coffee shops. So go there now and get all your favorite brands at great discount prices. Stores change daily. ApexGiftCard.com.
Walk by Faith Catering and Hoggy's Barbecue, a sponsor of the Crue Life podcast, started back in 2013. Their passion for cooking can be tasted in every single bite of their food, from Hoggy's slow-cooked pulled pork to the greatest mac and cheese. They truly live by their motto, showing Christ's example of love through food. Contact Hoggy's Barbecue through Crue Life, or you can call them directly at 727-688-2087 to meet all of your catering needs.
Welcome back, Crew Life. We're back from the break, Crewville. I got a special guest who called in to me, and His name is Adam Buckhead. Most of you guys know him as Buckhead.
Buckhead, you remember at the last Lightning game, you said you were going to buy me some drinks. You disappeared. You owe me.
But listen, he's on hold now. Here he is.
It's your boy Buckhead. You know what I'm saying? I got a question. Really, what I'm thinking of right now is, as I'm self-isolating in my house, what happens come July if training camp gets canceled due to the coronavirus and none of the players can do training camp, and that would be Bucs luck.
What he's saying is right. This is our next topic of conversation here. Thank you for the addition. Thanks for anybody who's calling in, man. We love anybody talking. We've been discussing this, and it breaks my heart to have to say it. What happens if the season's canceled? What happens if coronavirus isn't stopped and we're not able to watch Buccaneer football? What is this? And here's where I kind of want to go with this. What does the landscape of the NFL look like come next year? What we're talking about, we're going to have guys we're drafting and we're supposed to be paying, and then they don't play. Okay, we don't play. What happens to every contract that's available for this year? Is this just a skipped year? As fans, think about this yourselves, folks. Do you want to go into a stadium right this day with 68,000 other sweaty people right up against them? Unfortunately, in my opinion, I think coronavirus has changed the landscape, not just of sports, but of really how our life is. A perfect example, I walk into CVS, and they have 6 foot between everybody, right, Klevin?
Yes.
6 feet. You got to be way, way away from everybody. What did you put your credit card into?
The machine.
Well, who'd the person before you put their credit card into?
The machine.
That same machine. And they're putting right? Things are going to change. We're not going to have those kind of inputs anymore. So when we're looking at the Bucs, this is serious now. What happens? We don't have a season. What happens to the money that you and I and all of us already spent on tickets? Right. Is it rolled over to next year? Do we lose our place? What happens to Brady's contract? Start throwing some stuff out here, guys. We're here to answer some questions.
Well, the scary thing is, with Brady, he's already 43 years old. So if you're basically canceling a season, what does that do to an older player? I mean, it really does. You think it would rest some guys. Some guys coming off injury, it's going to be good for. Other guys, it's not. But for fans, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest. I want to keep positive. That's my way of dealing with it. Just like I'm one of those. My wife says I put my head in the sand because I don't want to see the negative. And right now, that is a major negative. I didn't think we would have to cancel going to Vegas. We had all these plans about what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. From the start of the draft, we were getting there on a Wednesday till Sunday night, coming on the red eye, saying we need bigger seats to feel comfortable. We had it all planned out. And when they started talking about this coronavirus back in January or February, we were like, it's not going to come in here. And then as time went on, look where we're at now. Where everybody in the stores, they have to count how many people are in the store before they let you in. You're right. Everything right now is on hold. But the one thing that, the areas that have had it first, they're clearing up. So hopefully, as time goes on, by hopefully June, everything's cleared up. And those that don't know Adam, by the way, what he does for a living, he is a chef for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he's affected majorly because the whole thing's been shut down. He's sitting at home.
Yes, and I could tell you, I have been personally affected by this virus stuff, and I call it virus stuff because that's exactly what it is. People need to keep it real. I've canceled 4 trips. Well, I didn't cancel them. The virus canceled my trips. 4 trips that I had planned, including this NFL draft. I got another one that I bought tickets for to Chicago in August. So let's hope and pray that it's over by then. I think it would be in my opinion, I'm going to remain optimistic. I'm an optimist. So I'm going to remain optimistic about this whole situation here, that we haven't hit the peak yet, but I think we should have the peak done by July, and then we'll be on the back side of it. That's the best case scenario, and then maybe we will have a football season. Now, back to what Adam was saying, what happens to these people, these players who are right now? Are they exercising in their homes? Are they getting together, which I don't think they are? Like we discussed before, the NFL has canceled like workouts and looking at prospective draft people. Bruce Arians, they're not meeting over at one Buccaneer place. What about our training camp? Training camp's very important, Rick.
One thing that Adam's message got a little cut off, so we missed a little bit. But one of the things that he said at the very end was, imagine us going into this season and you've got the Bucs playing New Orleans, and after the third play, they've got to take a 45-second break, or they got to take a 2-minute break because they're too winded.
Right.
They haven't been exercising. They're not in condition. They're not in football shape. Football shape comes from being out in the heat, being outside, bashing your head up against a wall all day long. I don't think that they're going to be doing that. If anything, we might have a shotgun season. I think our peak in this disease is going to come within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and this will be a short-term peak. My biggest fear is that October comes and it starts to get chilly again, and here we got round 2 of coronavirus. That's the fear. That's the fear, that we get into that okay, everything calms down. The heat starts to kill the virus. It's very, very influenza-like, this what it is. And then we get to October, it starts to go, and Trump or somebody else goes, nope, we social distancing again. No more. Okay, then at that point, now you got players giving it to players, exactly like the NBA,
right?
And everything's done again. I mean, it could be really, really nasty.
Really nasty. And I could tell you, it only takes one time. If another player transmits it to another player in the NFL, it's over. Game over.
If you want to talk about where this pandemic, where everybody went crazy with this coronavirus, was the freaking basketball player.
Yes.
That was the first thing that hit, that everybody went, and they connected the dots. Okay, he was in a locker room. He played against these guys. All these guys have it now. The next night they had Ice Capades. All the Ice Capades now have it. Ice Capades went home and gave it to all their people. So you can kind of see that was the first. That was the first thing where people went, wow, basketball's canceled. And the same day, Major League Baseball and hockey, all 3 of them, threw their hands up. It's not.
This is real.
This is real. And if in October we have round 2, which I think we will, because it's here to stay. It's not just going bye-bye. I mean, it's not going away forever. See ya, we won't have, when we now there might be a cure, but that's still a year and a half away. But they do have some things that are helping mitigate all the symptoms and everything else. But that's my fears. October comes in round 2. Ugh, that would kill me.
Yeah, the whole thing of this coronavirus right now, I was the first one making light of it, saying, yeah, I use extra lime with my Corona to be safe. But I looked at my Facebook yesterday, and one of our friends, one of the kids we coached, one of her friends passed away in Pinellas County from coronavirus.
Michael Pittman's uncle died. 61 years old.
And guys, I could tell you, we all have been touched. People, sometimes I look on Facebook and people post, well, has anybody been affected by this? Well, I could tell you, like you just said, Rob, I have a friend who I worked with for years at the PD who has coronavirus now, and he's fighting for his life in Bayfront Hospital right now.
How old is he?
He's like 35.
Ooh.
Now, we were talking before we even came in here. We know of one of the fans, a Bucs fan, and he's on Crue Life. He's in quarantine right now. He was just told he has coronavirus, and not an older guy, younger guy. wants to keep it kind of under wraps for his family's sake and stuff. But he works at a public place where it's like a grocery. It's an essential place. So obviously somebody came in, and without giving out the place, it kind of hurt. So and then one of our good friends that we talked about last week, is getting over it. He just put on, he's not sure if he even had it, but he's got something in his lungs where it's popping and cracking, and he's finally feeling better after like 5 days. So, for those guys out there and anybody that's been affected, I hope you all feel better, and I hope everything gets well. Everybody that's in the industry of the food industry, the stores that maybe that you can't open because where you're at in the mall. All those guys, I talked to Superfan Blakey. He was laid off. He runs a sports store in the mall. Instead of them paying those guys, they laid him off and told him to go home. One of our competitors where I work, I'm in the shoe industry, and Famous Footwear. If you guys have heard of Famous Footwear, they had all their employees get on a conference call and basically said, if you're an hourly employee, you're now fired.
Wow.
Everybody. And that's a big company, over 1,100 stores. So, for those people that have been affected out there, we feel for you. And, hopefully everything gets right, and hopefully those checks get in your pocket soon that they just approved.
And we're all praying for everybody that's being affected. Crewville.
Absolutely. Crew, we're here for you. We want to do everything that we can for sports fans, but we got to stay safe. Everybody does. It's just the way it's got to be right now.
Absolutely. And can I go off the roadmap for a minute? I just saw a post from a fan that was on our page who asked for help. He's out of Utah. And some of the fans on our page did step up, and I just want to commend them for doing that because that's what it's all about.
I know Todd Russell was one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd, I could tell you is a leader. It's funny, I haven't talked to Todd in a while. He was the president of our little league, Fossil Park, for a while, and I tell you what, when we got there, the park was $15,000 in the hole. It's nonprofit, so $15,000 negative. Within 1 year under his leadership, he had fixed the problems and he got us out of that. So talk about a nice guy, leader. He busts his butt. He's one of us. He works retail.
If there was if there were like more than 2 or 3 people at that park who actually, cared about all the work that he did, maybe he'd still be there and the park would have continued to do better, but he didn't. That's fine.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Todd has been a real good contributor for Crue Life lately. We're going to come back here in just a minute. Enjoy these messages, folks.
Hey everybody, this is Rob from Crue Life. If you are listening for the first time and you're like, what the heck is Crue Life? Where do we find these guys? How do we become part of the crew? Well, it's easy. You log onto your Facebook account, type in the search engine, Crue Life, not C-R-E-W, There is a C-R-U-E, that's crew. And you know what? There is no crew without you. So make sure you get on there, log in for Crue Life, become a member. Say you want to be in the group. We're going to get you into the crew. We're also on Twitter. Look up Crue Life on Twitter. Or if you want to follow this podcast and subscribe, go to youtube.com, type in Crue Life in the search bar, and subscribe today.
Nobles Marine is a proud sponsor of Crue Life Tailgate 2020. Nobles Marine is a second-generation family-owned and operated business that specializes in new and previously owned boats, and they have financing for all your boating needs, including parts, motors, accessories, and more. So stop by or visit their website at noblesmarine.com.
What's up, Buck Nation? It's your boy Grish here, host of the Cush Couch Chronicles, back with another weekly installment for my buddies over at Crue Life and their podcast. I wanted to touch base with everyone this week in regards to the general play calling philosophy differences that I expect us to see transitioning from Jameis Winston over to Tom Brady. Now, Jameis was used to using a lot more of the vertical, the 9 routes in the go tree, things that were designed to put pressure on the top side of a defense or challenge a safety vertically. Now, I don't expect Tom to abandon that completely. However, last year, the Bucs are ranked 30th in the NFL in play action utilization. I expect us to finish somewhere now inside the top 10. Tom made an entire 20-year career of 6 Super Bowl rings of success out in New England off of utilizing a lot more of the intermediate and short throws. Some people call it dinking and dunking. I prefer to call them high percentage. Call it what you may. Obviously, the entire point of a play action throw is you're bringing it to open up a ton of windows in the passing game. You're pulling your linebackers and your safeties alike down towards the line of scrimmage, especially if you utilize this on early downs. This causes those defenders to retreat back into their coverage zones after they see it's a fake, which is them turning their back to the quarterback, an ultimate no-no, especially against the GOAT. That's where he goes to work and eats you alive. So I expect us to utilize a lot more play action this year than we ever have in the past. Two architects of that play calling philosophy, Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan, both happened to play for a Super Bowl this last year, so it's been proven to be very effective. Now, as part of that, I think we go running back in the first round of the draft. That is correct. I think we have the weakest running back room in the NFL. Of course, we all want Rojo to work out and ascend a depth chart. Now, whether or not that's going to happen and us banking on it is a true gamble. So in true gamblers fashion, we need to hedge our bet, so to speak, and draft a running back. I think that Joe Haig signing is huge for us. We can instantly insert him as a plug-and-play starter right at a right tackle for Dot, and we can go any way we want in the first round. So I expect us to really, really heavily look at Swift out of Georgia, Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin, and J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. Those are the top 3 running backs on every draft website that you see, and I really think that we're going running back at pick 14, because then that way in the second and third rounds we can drop back and pick best available tackle and depth swing linemen, things of that nature. And I still think that later on, 4th, 5th round, if he's still there, we could look for Antonio Gibson out of Memphis. The kid offers everything you need as far as a running back and receiver combo skill set, and he is an elite returner per PFF, and that's something we've sorely lacked. Our return game has been anemic for a long time. So look for those things in the draft. Hope you all are well. Have yourself a great rest of your week. Go Bucs and fire them cannons.
What's up, Crue Live? It's the Biggie Man here in Atlanta. Hey, man, this off season was awesome for some. For some, it wasn't too awesome. At first, I wasn't a big fan of this Tom Brady thing, but I'm just a fan now, so, I want my team to do good. So we get the Billy Goat, greatest of all time. He gonna bring ticket sales and, energy. We're gonna have prime time games, so it's put up or shut up. Me being from the farm, I'm gonna use this analogy because we've been at the bottom of the food chain for years. Hey, that Billy Goat, he eat everything. When anything you put in front of him, he gonna eat. So hey, we got the goat, let's eat. It's time to rack it up. Super Bowl or bust for me. Hey man, I'm just excited. Just can't wait till all this other stuff get over with, so we can get on with this football season. So glad football season start late, but hey, y'all be safe out there. Keep doing what y'all doing. Crue Life, go Bucs.
What's up, Crue Life? First of all, I want to say thank you for the awesome invite on Facebook. Look forward to many other podcasts. Group looks amazing, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. My name is Leda Sintra. I'm one of the admins for the Facebook group Diehard Tampa Bay Buccaneers Fans, No Bandwagon. Search us, join us, and let's keep it Bucs Nation.
All right, we're back. Thanks for reaching out to Grish, Boogeyman, and Lydia. You guys had some great points, and we appreciate you guys sending those voice memos in. If you guys want to be part of the next podcast, we have a couple ways for you to do it. You could send us a voice memo. All you got to do is open your phone, go to voice memo, and record what you want to say, what you want to do, and then email it to us, crewlife2020@gmail.com. That's CRUELIFE 2020@gmail.com. You could do it that way, or you could go on Facebook and ask us a question, or even shoot a video and send it to that email. That's the way you could do it. Now we're going to move on. We got a couple more comments for you, and we're going to go to Robert, a very new person that just moved to our area from New York, and he wants to talk a little bit Vipers.
Hey, what's up, crew? My name's Rob. I'm relatively brand new to the group in the Tampa Bay area, really. I thought this was a pretty cool thing you guys were doing, so I figured I'd jump in. I just wanted to give a shout out to the fans down here. I spent the first 36 years of my life up in northern New Jersey. I eat, sleep, and breathe New York Giants football, New Jersey Devils hockey. I know, You guys are probably like, what the heck is this guy doing calling us right now? Reason is, I'm pretty blown away by the scene down here. I had season tickets for the Giants for years. When they tore down the old stadium and put up that monstrosity at MetLife, they really priced out a lot of the diehards like myself. I got a taste of the scene down here with the Vipers. I freaking love it. A lot of great action in the parking lot before the game. Great time in the seats. You guys are doing it right. Much respect. Let's go Vipers.
Thanks, Robert. That's a great analogy. You know, one thing that he did say that rings true to me is across all the NFL, it is so expensive to go to a football game these days. To be honest, I think that we're lucky with where our ticket prices are, to be honest. Because there are Klevin, what did you find out about Vegas? Whew.
Oh, my God. Vegas is basically nosebleeds will be at least $800 to $1,000. The average, I can't even afford that.
Yeah, if you can't afford it, then we're definitely outside.
Yeah, we're definitely outside.
All right, we got another call. This is from one of our friends from another podcast, the Loose Cannons. Sammer Ali and the Stank Bastard. You guys are a crazy duo, and you guys put on a hell of a show. And thanks for calling in, and we're going to put you on next.
Hey guys, this is Sammer over at the Loose Cannons podcast. I am a huge fan of the Crue podcast. I love the name. It's such a cool play on words, and the fact that you guys kind of merged different parts of your life together to make this entire group. I had one question. What Motley Crue song best describe this 2020 Buccaneers season that we have coming up? Thanks for everything you guys do, and look forward to the answer. Go Bucs!
All right, I'm going to start that one off because as you could see going through, if you look at my jersey, number 81 says Crue Life. 81 stands for the year Motley Crue actually became Motley Crue. So I am a diehard Motley Crue fan. I'm going to say it's their newest song, All Bad Things Must End. And that's talking about the last 13 years of no playoffs.
I would say it's Kickstart My Heart because I want to get a big kickstart on the season with all the losing that we've done since the 2002 Super Bowl.
On the Too Fast for Love album, Public Enemy #1, because that's what we're going to be. Public Enemy #1. There ain't nobody going to be liking the Bucs this year. And that, my friends, that's going to be fun. I'm sorry, that is going to be a blast.
Now we're going to move on. We've got our Crue Life page that we've asked Crewville to ask us a question. So Crue Life wants to know,
do we draft to win immediately or after the Brady era as Michael Coronado?
We're going now. I mean, there's no wait. There's an urgency here. Bruce Arians says you can hear it in his voice. You can see it in Tom Brady. Urgency. Get it done now.
Agreed.
Sense of urgency to win right now.
Next up is Tim Mack. It seems we're in a win this year mode. Tom Brady has been trademarking TB times TB. Are we seeking out free agents or trades? What scenarios would you make to move up in the draft? Which is really like three different questions. They're asking about free agency. They're asking if we're going to move up in the draft, or any trades we could. Is there anybody we can unload?
I think looking at the whole thing is in the draft. I would say we're going to go. I say all in, meaning we're going to go all chips in. If we have to trade draft capital, we are going to draft players.
And I also think that we have to protect our investment, which is you draft the offensive lineman, and we're all in on that again.
Are there any permanent re-signings?
Yeah, I don't hear any trade rumors right now. I mean, Rob, you threw out last week Le'Veon Bell. Hey, let's see if we can get. I mean, we were just talking. Now we've actually seen some people trying to talk about it, but there's no evidence. There isn't any evidence that we see right now that there are cooking, something up. We've just got to wait for Bruce Arians and Jason Light to do what they're going to do.
but it could happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't discount it, folks.
We just haven't heard. We're not in the know right now.
Just
Long-term signings. Long-term signings, I would say no. I think there's going to be a lot of short-term signings because we're going for that 2-year mark, meaning we're going to be looking for some value with our money. And Mr. Freeman got released, the running back for Atlanta. He had some injury problems over the years, but guess what? He's not going to be demanding a lot of money, and it could be a nice guy to bring in as a stable as they switch, having 3 backs.
Change of pace back. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so last question is from John Adazinski. Cameron Braith to the Jets for Le'Veon Bell. Would it help the Bucs?
It would definitely help the Bucs, but I would say there's no way in hell Tom Brady will let Cam Brate get out the door.
I'm a Le'Veon Bell fan, so I think that could happen. But like Rob said, I don't think it's going.
It's not going to be Cameron Brate for draft picks.
That's what
it would have to be more
to be.
than just Cameron Brate. Right?
Exactly. You're talking about somebody that's worth arguably $6 to $8 million versus a guy worth 15 to 20. There's a big difference between the two, and we'd have to give up, I think, too much in order to get him.
Huge.
I think before Cam Brate would get out on a trade, it would be O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard still is a minimum contract, and they just reworked Brate. So, O.J. is going to be due stuff, and he really hasn't performed in the time he's been here. Right. I mean, he hasn't caught the ball consistently. How many times, I think Klevin went off, how many bounces off the hands, interceptions that were caused, or missed blocks or holdings, when he was holding, being a tight end. So there's a lot to look at with O.J. where he's still tradable value because he's on a rookie contract.
I agree. Great. Guys, this has been a great podcast. Thank you for listening. Klevin, any final words?
My final words is everybody stay safe. The coronavirus is real. We all have been touched by this.
And you can even say what you just saw on your phone. 30-day, or now we're April 30th.
Yes, I just saw something on the phone that they've extended. The federal government has extended, instead of opening the country up by Easter, they've extended it down to April 30th now, which in my opinion it hurts us because people are hurting, businesses are hurting.
Everybody here's been affected. You've been affected,
yeah,
Rob,
we've all
myself,
been
we've
affected.
all lost money.
And no matter what, we all want this thing to be over with. We all want to thrive. We want our businesses to thrive. So everybody, let's take care of each other, and we'll all get through this.
For those that know somebody in the restaurant game, they're working, please go to those restaurants that are local. Order to go. They're bringing out curbside. I'm telling you right now, we went to a major place that usually the food's and right now it's the best ever because they're actually really concentrating on it, and they're sealing the product. And tip. Give those people that are delivering to you.
Give them the full tip.
Give them a tip. Do not just put 0 because it's to go. Give them a tip. They are working, and they're working their ass off because they're on minimal staffs. I mean, we went to a big restaurant. There was 3 people working, a manager, a cook, and the lady that was serving the food to the people. So we all know that people right now are hurting, and if we go and support those restaurants, they'll stay open, and these people can keep working. So, again, that's my word of please help those people out. Those people really bust their ass for everybody.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And as always, folks, Crue for life.